Social media, a new frontier. These are the voyages of Chat of Champions.
Rising up to demolish your father. Fuck you, just a man that is will to survive. I kill you, you evil shit, die. Fuck you, die. You drink my goddamn piss. Oh my god, I could have fought you in the first place. I seen your father's fucking face. Alright.
And remember, fellow podcast listeners, with a great podcast comes great responsibility. Welcome, fellow podcast listeners and true believers. I'm Casey Strong, and this is another edition of Chat of Champions. I am re-recording, pretty much, the story that I wrote featuring the encounter between Batman and Spider-Man. I figured, I will admit, which you probably tell if you go back and listen to the first recording of this story, I was a little inebriated. In fact, you can hear me drinking through the whole thing. So, if you want to hear drunk me tell the story, go listen to that podcast. But if you want to hear it presented the way that I feel anyway that it should be presented, sit back, relax, and enjoy this little tale of Batman battling Spider-Man. I wrote it basically in an imaginary Batman universe where the third Robin, Tim Drake, never existed. Jason Todd, rewind a little farther. Dick Grayson, the first Robin, as we all know, because his parents were killed and he trained him to be Robin, grew up and became Nightwing. So, he's off fighting crime on his own. Second Robin, poor Jason Todd. Oh, poor Jason Todd. Actually, I don't even need to tell you this story because this story is it's actually part of the story. But I'm going to tell you, I might as well finish anyway since I started. Jason Todd, the second Robin, was blown up, was killed in action. So, Batman, if I remember correctly, was on the edge of insanity. Then he met Tim Drake, who gave Batman purpose again and turned him back into the Dark Knight that we all know and love. But let's just imagine that he didn't meet Tim Drake. That he did go batshit crazy, pun intended. This is that story. And unfortunately, our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, due to circumstances beyond his control, is thrust into poor Bruce's sinking depression. So sit back, and enjoy this epic tale of interdimensional travel and comic book heroes meeting face to face. So, here we go. Two of the greatest superheroes of all time meeting face to face. I'll shut up. I'll read the fucking story. Alright. Our story begins on a day of celebration at the Xavier Institute of Higher Learning. World-renowned scientist Dr. Hank McCoy, also known as valued X-Men member Beast, is applying the finishing touches to a brand new interdimensional teleportation device. The device is to be tested at the conclusion of Beast's final tests and diagnostics. J. Jonah Jameson, fearless editor-in-chief of the Daily Bugle, has sent everyone's favorite mild-mannered freelancer Peter Parker to snap some pictures for the Bugle's front page. A proud Charles Xavier and a disgruntled Wolverine are also in attendance to witness the culmination of years of intense frustration, determination, trial, and error.
Damn it, Charles. Why the hell do I have to be here? You couldn't fill a thimble with how much I care about this shit.
Calm yourself, Logan. You're here because this is a proud day for McCoy, the Institute, and the world. Besides, after your little assault on the General this past month, you have been ordered by the President himself to stay in my sights until you can control your temper. If you can't, the U.S. government has promised to throw you into the deepest, darkest hole that you have ever seen, and they have promised me that not even you can escape it.
They haven't been able to hold me yet. Besides, Professor, the General's an asshole. He had it coming.
You must learn to put personal feelings aside, or else you will be no good to anyone, including yourself.
Yeah, keep on talking. Somebody might start listening to you.
Xavier just lowered his head and shook it in frustration. Meanwhile, Beast and Peter, hovering over the device like a couple of giddy schoolchildren, McCoy is punching in a series of numbers and passwords to the teleporter's mainframe, while Parker gazes in awe at the machine, snapping a picture every now and again. I just have a few more adjustments to make and we'll be ready to go. Sorry, I said a line in a story that I fucking wrote wrong. I should be shot for that shit. That's my honest opinion. I just have a few more adjustments to make before I initiate the first test. As soon as I input these last 4 encryption codes, we should be ready to go. I only have 3. I seem to have misplaced one. Where is that blasted thing? Pardon me, Peter. Back in a jiffy. No problem, Dr. McCoy. I don't really have a Peter Parker impression, so I think I'll just use pretty close to my own voice for Peter Parker and Spider-Man. No problem, Dr. McCoy. Before you go, where's the off switch? Where's the power switch? Where's the switch that powers this bad boy? There we go. I need to get a pic for old JJ. Don't want to piss JJ off. Well, I guess I can trust you. It's right here. The green lever. Much obliged, Doctor. As Parker started taking pictures with a ton of technological-fueled excitement, a still fuming and now eavesdropping Wolverine decided to take it upon himself to speed up Beast's process. Unfortunately, he couldn't do a thing with Professor X eyeballing him constantly. It's like a fucking parent, that Professor X. Treats them mutants like children. No. Anyway. Excuse me, Charles. I hate to burden you, but may I have your assistance for one moment? Certainly, Beast. Logan, though extremely shocked at his incredible luck, jumped on his opportunity. He marched toward the teleporter and shoved Peter aside. Put this on your front page, bub. Logan, no! You don't know what you're doing! But it was too late. Logan threw the switch. The device started buzzing louder than a jet engine and shook violently. The whole machine started glowing like a sun, and after a second or two, it emitted what appeared to be a portal at the top of the teleporter. As soon as it opened, it began to suck everything within a 10-foot radius inward. Fortunately, Xavier and Beast were just outside the portal's pull. Hank, is this normal? Absolutely not! The intensity of the device's settings highly exceed those for suitable normal operation. Can you shut it down? Not unless I want to be swallowed by its portal. Just then it appeared that Logan and Peter were about to suffer the same fate. They had to take action. Wolverine instinctively sunk his adamantium claws into the floor, which held him firmly in place. Parker, also using his quick thinking, whipped 2 webs at the opposite wall, then 4, then 6, then 8. Alas! Logan's adamantium is stronger than Peter's webbing. They snapped like threads and sent our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man hurtling into an unknown dimension. Although Peter was literally being vacuumed up, he kept his wits about him like a true hero. He quickly whipped a web strand around the lever and shut the portal down behind him. There is no down in that sentence. Shh. He quickly whipped the web strand around the lever and shut the portal behind him. The device powered down. Logan barely had a chance to regain his bearings before the Beast came charging across the room and blasted him like a hulking blue linebacker. You damn fool! Do you realize what you've done? He's gone, you lug, and for what? Because you can't be civilized like the rest of us? Enough, Beast! Get off him at once! You better listen to him, Furball, before I decide to defend myself. Both of you stop this nonsense. Now is not the time to be blaming and threatening one another. Now, Hank, where did the device send him? I couldn't say. I didn't have a chance to select a proper destination. The possibilities are endless. Very well. Calm down. Give me a moment. I will attempt to lock on to his consciousness. It's no use, Charles. At the level the teleporter was set, it has converted Peter into pure energy, and he will remain so until he reaches his destination. You won't be able to contact him through telepathy until he comes out on the other side. That is, if he comes out at all. How long? Hours? Days? Weeks? It all depends on how far the portal takes him. Is there anything we can do? I'm sorry, Professor, but no. Nothing except wait. And maybe pray. Oh, shit. Things are intense. Meanwhile, in Gotham City, everybody's favorite announcer. It's a frigid night in Gotham. The air is crisp. The shroud of darkness that blankets the city is blacker than the hearts of the villains that terrorize its streets. we meet up with billionaire Bruce Wayne, who is basking in the moonlight on the balcony of his humble abode, Wayne Manor, in deep thought. The Bat-Hound at his feet. Wayne's butler and closest confidant, Alfred Pennyworth, is delivering him his evening tea when the bat signal lights up the night sky. Here's your tea, Master Wayne. Though it appears it's going to have to wait, doesn't it? You might as well hand me that tea, Alfred. Gotham is going to have to live without his dark protector again tonight, I'm afraid. For heaven's sake, sir, you haven't been out of the house in 3 months. Crime has gone up in the city 25%, and I'm having trouble convincing Commissioner Gordon you're not dead. I wish I was dead, Alfred. Now you're just being a child. I can't help it. I miss him so much. Are you listening to yourself, Bruce? You're the Batman, and yet you sit and weep over another grown man. It's not the man, it's the mask that I miss. I need my boy Wonder, my young ward, my Robin. You've lost it, Master Wayne. I'm taking my vacation now. If you need anything at all, please, don't hesitate to call someone else. Alfred then took a look down at Bruce's feet where the Bat-Hound lay. He had the poor pooch all dressed up. The Bat-Hound lifted his head and looked up at Alfred as if seeking help. Owen, would you please take Robin's costume off the dog, sir? It embarrasses him and it embarrasses me. Nobody cares about your opinions, Alfred. Especially us. For your information, he loves his costume. Isn't that right, my furry chub? By this time, though, the Bat-Hound had pawed his way out of the costume and began to run after Alfred. Fine! I don't need you either, Bat bitch! Bruce picked up the discarded costume and stared at it for a moment. Then, Batman got a brilliant idea. The homeless shelter. I'm bound to find a desperate young man in need of guidance at the homeless shelter. To the Batcave! The depressed Dark Knight went running to his library, singing a familiar tune to himself. No, 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 Batman! No, 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 Batman! No, 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 Batman! Batman! No, 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 Batman! Bruce entered the library and opened the secret doors, revealing the bat poles leading down to the Batcave. Down one of the poles he went, hitting the lever on the way down, dressing the Batman into his signature cape and cowl. Darting across the Batcave with great haste, the Caped Crusader made his way to the Batmobile and jumped into the driver's seat, still talking to himself. Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed. Roger. Ready to move out. And away went the bipolar Batman. At that moment, we rejoin Peter Parker as he finally reaches the end of his unexpected and very unpleasant journey through time and space. The exit portal opened up in the night sky above a very unfriendly part of Gotham, sending our hero crashing to the street below with a violent thud. Though Spidey wasn't in physical form during the teleportation, and was completely unaware of the actual trip. He was completely cognizant of the temporary paralysis that followed due to the teleporter's unstable settings. Not to mention all of the pain of the 25-foot fall to the pavement, the sound of which attracted the attention of a couple local brutes who were dealing on the corner. Oh, God! That sucked. Note to self. Beat Logan senseless when I see him again. If I see him again. Where am I? Why can't I move? Well. What do we have here? Here go my spider senses. He looks like shit, doesn't he? Yeah, he does. Where am I? Who are you? You hear that, Jimmy? He wants to know who I am. I'm Bart Simpson! Who the hell are you? Isn't your name Tony? Shut up, stupid! Please, I'm not looking for trouble. Just tell me where I am. I don't think you're in much of a position to be making demands, my friend. What are we gonna do with him, boss? Well, Jimmy, my boy, we're gonna teach our little tourist pal here a little lesson. That Gotham City is the unfriendliest place on Earth. Boss Tony went to lift his giant foot and drive it through the falling freelancer's chest, only to find that he couldn't. Jimmy and Tony's bickering back and forth gave Peter more than enough time to regain his motor functions and web his foe's feet to the concrete. Before the thugs could react, Spidey nipped up to his feet and with lightning speed bound the two simpletons with the classic web cocoon. I think we all know that familiar image. The kind of freak you should have finished off when you had the chance. With that, he grabbed up the tightly packaged perps and scaled a nearby stoplight and hung them like Christmas tree ornaments. You're gonna pay for this, freak show! Something tells me I already am. Peter then reached into his back pocket and pulled out the spider mask. Here goes nothing, he said, sliding it over his face. Spidey then swung off into the night. You should have taught him a lesson, boss. When we get down from here, Jimmy, I swear to God, I'm gonna crack your fucking skull. I'm gonna crack it so fucking hard, you don't even know. Oh. A few minutes later, the Batman came rolling up on the scene and out-jumped billionaire Bruce. Hello! Hello up there! Look, boss! This is Batman! We ain't seen him in months! I'm not blind, I see Batman, you schnook. Hey! Hey, Batman! Would you cut us down? What in the world are you doing up there, citizens? You know, just hanging around. Would you stuff it? Some freaky kid in a mask did this to us. He shot some ropes or whatever this garbage is out of his wrists and swung that way with it. Upon hearing this information, Batman's detective skills went to work. Some kid as an age appropriate for the role of my young ward. He appears to have effortlessly subdued 2 men by himself, which means he must harbor some skills in combat. Plus, he seems to possess some sort of special ability. I must locate this masked man of mystery. Back to the Batmobile! Hey! Hey! You forgetting something, Chief? Oh, yes. How silly of me. Batman pulled a batarang out of his utility belt and frisbee whipped it behind him, severing the web suspending the two thugs, then plummeting them to the street feet first, breaking their legs. The crazed crusader nodded satisfied with his work, then jumped back into the Batmobile once again sped off, leaving Tony and Jimmy a crippled mess. Meanwhile, old Webhead didn't go far. He sat perched upon a rooftop about 6 blocks away, surveying the unfamiliar city, racking his brain for a solution to this bizarre situation. Well, Spidey, what a fine mess this turned out to be. It sure would be nice to be able to swing over to Dr. Connor's lab right about now, or any of the other places I could go to for help back home. As far as this dismal, dark Gotham place goes, I don't even know where to start. Just then the Batmobile went racing past with all of its eye-catching glory. Very, very, very distinctive vehicle, that Batmobile. I don't think fucking astronauts can miss that shit from space. Well, sap my intelligence and call me Venom. If the driver of that monstrosity can't at least point me in the right direction, I might as well give up now. I'll stick a spider tracer to it and do a little recon. Spidey flung the tiny transmitter and stuck it to the Batmobile's rear bumper. Swinging behind at a safe distance so as not to be detected, he followed his new lead through the city, through the streets of Gotham. After watching the caped individual serve what appeared to be heaps of justice to every thug he came across, which in reality was he was serving heaps of ruthless, unprovoked interrogations to random homeless people about the second vigilante, getting nowhere, of course. The web slinger felt it was safe to make contact. Poor bastard. Gotham's guardian screeched to a stop, finally reaching his original destination of the homeless shelter. Thank goodness, though, Spidey unknowingly stopped even more unnecessary hobo harassment by engaging the whacked-out Wayne as he stepped out of the Batmobile. Wow! That's quite the cape. I bet Dracula would be jealous. Batman spun around and was overwhelmed with surprise. Great Scott! Do my eyes deceive me? He said, realizing he had discovered the mystery swinger. I couldn't tell you. I was, however, hoping you could tell me a few things. There was an awkward pause as the bat wheels began turning inside of the bat head of the Batman. Why, certainly. What seems to be the trouble, man of mystery? Spidey then spent the next several minutes laying out his unfortunate situation. So I was hoping you could point me towards the nearest research facility. Or maybe you can help me out. I'm working with literally nothing here. Calm down, chum. Give me a moment to ponder. Ah, yes. I may have something back in my Batcave. We can join forces and develop a solution there. Quick, to the Batmobile! I think he's just so happy to finally have somebody to talk to. Okay. I guess I'm out of options at this point. Can I at least get a name? I am Batman. I should have known. Reluctantly, the wall crawler climbed into the passenger seat of the Batmobile, only to be hit by a strange mist from the driver's seat. Before he knew what happened, our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man was out like a light. So Batman was appearing to help our fucking friendly neighborhood Spider-Man over here, which fucking we all know that he has alternative motives, but we're gonna have to wait about 5 minutes because I gotta take a break, man. I'm out of breath. But meanwhile, I got a tune for you, man. A special song I've selected just for this particular podcast. It's a very appropriate song done by Weird Al Yankovic. Yes, I use Weird Al Yankovic and appropriate in the same sentence. Who'd have known that was possible? But I just did it. So, here's Weird Al's Ode to a Superhero. And stay tuned to find out what happened to Mr. Peter Parker. I'll be back in a minute, man. So, enjoy this fantastic tune.
Poor Peter Parker was pitiful. Couldn't have been any shyer. Mary Jane still wouldn't notice him, even if his hair was on fire. But then one day he went to that science lab. That mutated spider came down. Oh, and now Peter crawls over everyone's walls, and he's swinging all over town. La la la, lady da. La 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 da dum. Sling us a web, you're the Spider-Man. Sling us a web tonight, 'cause we're all in the mood for a hero now, and there's evil doers to fight. Harry the rich kid's a friend of his who horns in on Mary Jane. But to his great surprise, it seems she prefers guys who can kiss upside down in the rain. With great power comes great responsibility. That's the catchphrase of old Uncle Ben. If you missed it, don't worry, they'll say the line again and again and again. Oh, la 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 diddy da, la la diddy da da da. Now Norman's a billionaire scientist who never had time for his son. But then something went screwy, and before you knew, he was trying to kill everyone. And he's riding around on that glider thing, and he's throwing that weird pumpkin bomb. Yes, he's wearing that dumb Power Rangers mask, but he's scarier without it on. Sling us a web,
come up with those tights? It's a pretty sad day at the funeral. Norman Osborn has bitten the dust, and I heard Harry said he wants Spider-Man dead. Ah, but his buddy Pete he can trust. Oh, and MJ is all hot for Peter now. Ah, but Peter he just shuts her down. Mary Jane, don't you cry, you can give it a try again when the sequel comes round. Oh, la 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 diddy da, la la diddy da da dum. Sling us a web, you're the Spider-Man. Sling us a web tonight, 'cause we all sure could use us a hero now. We think that you'll do all right.
Welcome back, everybody. It's my Dr. Nick impression. You're supposed to say, glad to be back, Dr. Nick. First off, I'd like to thank you for what's the words I'm looking for? Coming back to sticking around. There you go. Sticking around. I'd like to thank you for sticking around. When we last left our hero, he was in a pretty precarious situation. He'd just gotten into the Batmobile expecting to be helped here, man. But, of course, to his dismay, he was sprayed in the face with some unknown gas. Unknown to him, but for us true Bat fans, we know what that gas was. So let's jump back into our story. The next thing Spidey knew, he woke up in a huge cathedral-like room with Batman standing over him. What the heck did you do to me? I simply used a healthy dose of bat gas to render you unconscious. I apologize, but I simply couldn't let you discover the location of my Batcave. Oh, right then, I guess that makes sense. I would have preferred a blindfold, though, something. Batman takes no bat chances. Bat Christ. Wow! You rub off on people. And stop. Just stop with the bat everything. I sense a bit of tension, chum. And stop calling me chum. It's weird. Can you help me or not? Of course, fellow do-gooder. Here, drink this cup of bat water. Oh my God. Thank you. I'm so thirsty. So thirsty that I can forgive that you called it bat water. You're welcome. I assumed that it would be of use, being that dehydration is the primary side effect of bat gas. Finally, you're worth something, said our hero, taking a big gulp. Now, by the looks of this giant cave and all of its bat labels and gadgets, that's not strange at all. You're either a genius or some kind of nut. Whatever the case may be, Spidey began having trouble making words as he suddenly became dizzy. He looked down at the cup of bat water and dropped it. Realized what the Batman had done. Spider-Man began to stagger towards the Benedict Batman, trying to string together a proper insult. I can't... Bat... You... But his efforts were futile, as the witty wall crawler took 4 steps and collapsed in a heap on the floor at Batman's feet, once again out cold. When Spidey came to, Batman had confined him to a small animal cage. Peter looked up to see his caped captor staring at him like a spectator at a zoo. You're a real piece of work, you know that? You've perfected way too many ways of drugging people for it not to be creepy. Creepy! I can't believe you would say such a thing! Oh, did I hurt your bat feelings? Do you need a bat tissue? Crack all the jokes you want, my comedic friend. They will do you no good. The Dark Knight reached into one of the compartments in his utility belt and pulled out a long hypodermic needle filled with a translucent red liquid. Appreciate the gesture, Batman, but I've already had my flu shot. No, my poor deluded boy. This is a compound that I myself have concocted. Once injected, the subject will be forced to bend to my will. The purpose being... Well, you see, some time ago I adopted a young man named Dick Grayson, whose parents were taken by the malicious acts of another, much like my own parents. I trained him to be my sidekick and dubbed him Robin. After years of fighting crime by my side, Dick felt it was time to fight the good fight alone as Nightwing. I respected his wishes. Soon after, I took in another young man named Jason Todd and named him the new Boy Wonder. One day, in the line of duty, Jason was brutally battered by my arch nemesis, the Joker. That fiendish clown detonated a bomb from which Todd could not escape. I tried to go it alone after that, but the fact of the matter remains. A Batman is nothing without his Robin. This is where you come in, my friend. Once I had seen the way you had subdued those 2 miscreants in the street, I knew you were the ideal candidate for my young ward. To think, I searched high and low. I searched all over Gotham. But you somehow found me. Fate works in mysterious ways, doesn't it? Are you done? Are you done? Because I'm done listening to you. You think that you're just going to stick me with some needle and brainwash me into being your sidekick? Do I have this straight? Do I? Precisely! Have a look at your new costume! Batman said, pointing to Robin's old costume hanging on the wall. Spidey took one look at it, and that was enough. He used his webbing with deadly accuracy to disarm the Batman of the Bat Needle and kicked open the cage door, which he discreetly jimmied open with a lockpick he'd fashioned from his web fluid while Batman was distracted with his long-winded sob story. So it's here. The epic confrontation. The battle we've all been waiting for. Spider-Man has kicked open the cage door, and he's in Batman's face. Now what's he gonna do? Batman knows Kung Fu. Batman was trained by Liam Neeson. So, what's he gonna do? Let's find out. Cue the battle music. There it is. Listen to it. Let it sink into your soul. Let it get you battle ready. Here we go. Spider-Man charged the Bat-Fiend with a flurry of vicious punches, but thanks to Bruce's martial arts training, he blocked each blow with ease, following up the final deflection with a stiff front kick to Peter's chest, sending the web-slinger tumbling backwards, slamming into the wall behind him. Just then, Peter's spider senses told him to quickly jerk his head to the left, as a batarang thrown by the Batman stuck into the wall where his head had been. Walloping web snappers! Batman's batshit crazy! Time for a new strategy. Spidey whipped two webs at the ceiling and launched himself upward. The crazed Crusader, having none of this, whizzed two more batarangs at his target, severing the spider's webs and bringing him down. Though, to the Bat's dismay, the wall crawler had anticipated this and landed himself knees first on Batman's shoulders, driving him to the ground. Rolling through to his feet, Spidey spun around and connected with a brutal leg sweep upside Wayne's cowled cranium. Rolling him across the floor, the bruised billionaire quickly jumped to his feet and spit out the blood gushing from a tooth dislodged from that last blow. You've proven yourself a formidable foe, web shooter. It warms my heart to know that I won't be burying another Robin. Sorry, Bat Dude. You're not getting another Robin. Not now. Not ever. Our hero then launched one of his patented web balls at Batman's head, narrowly avoiding contact. Bruce hurled yet another batarang, this one sticking Spider-Man in the shoulder and dropping him to a knee. Looking grim, folks. Batman took advantage of this by following up with a Chuck Norris-style roundhouse kick to Spidey's temple, knocking him silly. The Dark Knight located his bat syringe and confidently strolled over to the prone Peter Parker. Sadly, this is where our battle ends, old chum. It's been an honor to be your opponent, but it's going to be an even greater honor to have you fighting by my side. Batman took a knee and raised the needle to perform that famous Pulp Fiction maneuver, or infamous Pulp Fiction maneuver, however you want to look at it. Let's just call it the John Travolta special. Yes, Batman took a knee to deliver the John Travolta special, when all of a sudden, a portal opened right above his head. From it emerged reinforcements in the forms of Beast and Wolverine. Logan landed directly behind the Batman and crossed the adamantium under Bruce's chin. Lose the needle, bub, or lose your head. The Batman immediately dropped it in fear for his life. I would totally drop that shit too. I don't care if I was Superman. Wolverine has his claws under my neck. I might just drop my shit. Whatever I was doing, he's pissed at me for. I think I'd just stop. Who are you, twisted fiends? I'm Santa Claus, and he's my big blue elf. I've made my list, checked it twice, and it says you're the one who's twisted around here. My stars and garters! Would you look at this place, Logan? I'm a little busy right now. Why don't you make your furry ass useful and wake Peter up? But the beakers, the test tubes! They've blinded me with science! No, I just made that part up. Or didn't make it up. I added it. Definitely didn't make that line up. Anyway. As Wolverine held Bruce hostage, Beast shook Spidey awake. Huh? What? Oh, Dr. McCoy. Logan, you found me. How? No time for explanations. We need to get you back to the Institute. You need medical attention. That sounds like a great idea. Beast went to initiate the device on his belt that would open the portal home when Peter stopped him. Wait. Let me take care of my problem first. Spidey walked over to the still pretty helpless Batman. Picked up his bat syringe. What on earth are you going to do? What I believe needs to be done. You wouldn't. I have to. Spider-Man lifted the needle and plunged it in between Logan's claws and into Batman's neck. Good Lord, Peter! Damn, Pete. Letting loose a little bit. I like it. Bruce let out only a small groan. Then his eyes glazed over, and he was almost zombie-like. Peter quickly grabbed his head with both hands and manually focused Batman's eyes onto his own. Batman! Batman! Here's what you need to do. You need to protect this city. Just like I need to go back and protect my own. Gotham needs you, Batman. There's a hero out there named Nightwing, who you trained, by the way. He can't keep crime in check by himself. He's only one man. He needs an ally on the streets who he can turn to when the job becomes too much for one man to handle. Be that ally, Batman. Be the Batman that you were meant to be. He never mentioned Jason Todd or his death. Let him go, Logan. I don't think he's a threat anymore. Wolverine relinquished his grip. Get us out of here, Doctor. Consider it done. McCoy pressed the button on his belt, opening the return portal. Spider-Man and the two X-Men departed, leaving the Batman still in a daze. Later. Back at the Xavier Institute. Beast patches Peter's batarang wound while Xavier listens to the story of Spidey's unusual experience. Well, it sounds like you had your work cut out for you, my boy. Say the least, Doctor. Who knows? Sorry. Lost myself for a minute. I'll start at the top of Xavier's last line. All right. Well, it sounds like you had your work cut out for you, my boy. Thank goodness Beast and Logan showed up when they did. To say the least. But who knows? I might be running around as Webby the Wonder Boy by now. One thing, though. When I was spit out into Gotham, I couldn't move for a minute or two. That didn't happen to you guys? No. Of course not. It's quite simple, really. Once the device is configured properly, a person can pass through safely without losing motor function. Unfortunately, Logan made that impossible when you went through. Yeah. I think the lughead redeemed himself, though. Agreed. He's a royal pain, but he always seems to come through in the end. Where in the world did Logan run off to, anyway? He's on a beer run, Charles. Ah, I see. You know, I'm still curious about that Batman fellow. You mentioned, Peter, that you gave him a pep talk before you gave him the drugs? Oh, pardon me, after you gave him the drugs? That's right, Professor. Whatever became of him? Well, I hope he became the hero he seemed to once be. I really do, Professor. I really do. Meanwhile, back at Wayne Manor, in old Super Friends, we find Bruce Wayne back on his balcony. He stares off into the night sky, still in a trance. Suddenly, the bat signal hits the clouds. And it was like somebody flipped a switch in the bat's brain. He snapped back into reality and leapt up out of his chair with authority. I haven't a moment to lose, he said proudly. Then Gotham's protector was off to rid his city of crime like he never missed a beat. And we have come to the end of our epic tale. I hope you enjoyed it, Spider and Bat fans alike. I know I enjoyed writing it. I enjoyed bringing it to you. So, I'd like to thank everyone for listening to this story. You may ask, before I leave, what inspired me to write it? Well, I believe them two needed the battle. And I didn't think DC and Marvel were ever going to make it happen. Who knows? Anyway, for all I know, it could have already happened. I could have missed it somewhere. I've missed stuff along the line. Anyway, it's been a pleasure bringing you this tale. I'd like to thank all the listeners, all the podcast listeners. I'd like to thank everyone who does podcasts and keeps podcasts alive. And I'd like to thank one particular podcaster, filmmaker, and pretty much the man who made me believe I could do a podcast like this. I'd like to thank Mr. Kevin Smith. Thank you, my sir. I wanted to say my friend, but fuck it. I'm going to consider you my friend for entertaining me throughout the years, and all the rest of the Smodco and View Askew fans out there. So, follow me on Twitter at CaseyStrong4. Go view all the latest Chat of Champions at youtube.com/KC's Chat of Champions. That's KCS Chat of Champions 2. Casey's Chat of Champions 2. There's a 2 on the end of that. Sorry. Kind of exhausted from all that. No, I'm not. I could do another one. But anyway, until my next podcast, I like to remind everybody out there, with a great podcast comes great responsibility. Have a good one, folks.